All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division talking about what Terence Crawford's former opponent had to say about whether or not he will fight Jaron Ennis and what will happen in that fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 147-pound division talking about Terence Crawford's former opponent, giving him credit for saying that he will fight Jaron Ennis. However, that Terence ain't gonna like the outcome when the fight happens. And that is Hammering Hank Lundy. Now, before I get into that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also to all the longtime subscribers, recent subscribers, thank you so much for your support throughout the year of 2022. It's been a great year for the channel. Thank you guys so much for your support in the super chats and in the cash apps, and more people supporting the channel in the super thanks, which you can see in videos like this with a heart and the dollar sign in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Thank you guys so much for making the channel good. And now we are looking forward to what's going to happen in the year 2023. So shout out to YSM Sports Media once again putting out another banger of an interview out of the gyms in Philadelphia. And I am especially grateful to them because they put out a lot of content around one of the best young fighters in the sport of boxing, one of my favorite fighters in the sport of boxing, Jaron Boots Ennis out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, as we know, Jaron Ennis will be fighting on the undercard of the Gervonta Tank Davis fight against Hector Garcia. So definitely looking forward to that fight taking place on January 7th against Kareem, guy whose name I'm not going to be able to pronounce, but he will be the co-main event in that fight. And after that, he should be, according to Steven Espinoza, I'm not 100% sure because I'm reading through those IBF rules and it seems like there's a lot of leeway in that. However, is slated to become the mandatory for Errol Spence Jr. Title, IBF title. And he was interviewed, and in the preparation for his fight, there's a lot of interviews coming up, and YSM Sports Media interviewed a guy that has known Jaron Ennis for a long time out of Philadelphia. I do believe he's out of Philadelphia, and that is Hammering Hank Lundy. Now, if you're not familiar with Hammering Hank Lundy, he is someone that fought Terence Crawford at 140 pounds. I thought he put up a good fight with Terence Crawford until, the proverbial until he gets stopped by Terence Crawford. But he was asked about Jaron Ennis and why people were, whether or not he feels like Jaron Ennis is going to be able to get his championship shot. And what he thinks the future holds for Jaron. And Hank Lundy said, look, that they're not going to be able to run from him for very long, that he's going to be able to get a shot at one of those championships. And when he gets the shot at that championship, that there's nothing these guys are really going to be able to do with him. And he was asked, who do you think would fight him first? And he said, well, I think Terence Crawford would fight him first. And when he asked why, he said it was a pride thing. He thinks Terence Crawford has a lot of pride, and Terence Crawford will fight Jaron Ennis because Jaron Ennis is, one of the best upcoming fighters in boxing. Now, I just have to do a little intermission before he talks about what he thinks in that fight, what he thinks would happen in the fight. Man, I don't see that at all. Because if it was pride, then he would have fought Errol Spence Jr. So, if it's about being a pride and having people think you can't beat somebody, pride would have taken him to Errol Spence Jr. Kind of like that old saying that women had when they catch their husband cheating on them and they say, oh, I love you. And they say, yeah, love should have brought you home last night, right? Nah, dog, pride should have got him that Errol Spence Jr. fight. But whatever, that is Hank Lundy's point of view. Gotta respect the man for his point of view. But he was asked what he thought would happen in the fight between the two. And he's like, look, man, Terence Crawford's going to get knocked out. I got him. I got Jaron Ennis by knockout. He's like, look, man, this dude is an animal. He said he's bigger, he's stronger. He can do everything Terence Crawford can do. He's smarter than these guys, and talked about how he's been seeing Jaron Ennis coming up from a little kid in the gym. And the dude is just like that, right? Now, a little bit of, I'm going to say this, hometown, a little bit of hometown stuff there, right? Because they fight out of the same gym. And, it's not likely that Hank Lundy is going to say something like that and be like, nah, Jaron, I don't think Jaron, who, and you see Hank Lundy in Jaron's gym, is going to say something different. However, it doesn't mean just because you don't think he would say anything different, doesn't mean what he said ain't true. And that's one of the reasons why I say I want to see that Jaron Ennis versus Terence Crawford fight so much, because it basically, that whole conversation that was taking place, that fight is the best, eliminates it, right? When is Jaron Ennis going to get a shot? Now, when Hank Lundy says he believes that Terence Crawford will fight him first, I believe that Terence Crawford will be in the position to fight him first, because of the WBC mandatory that is up there for Errol Spence Jr. with Keith Thurman, right? And that is a real thing. That is not just going to disappear. And then after that, you've got the WBA. You have the fight with the WBA mandatory, which is more than likely going to be the winner of Amanda Stanionis versus Virgil Ortiz. And that fight has not taken place yet. However, that more than likely will be the mandatory that is up after that. And I suspect, since also you have a problem with the fact that Errol, because he was in that car accident, is not going to be available to fight the Keith Thurman fight, or the WBC mandatory, or the WBA mandatory. He said somewhere in the April, May, or June timeframe. So if you take that to the far end of it, you're talking about June. So you have June for the WBC. You may have October or November for the WBA, which pushes that out into the next year. Jaron Ennis has said that he wants to fight. That he wants to fight multiple times this year. And actually, Terence Crawford said the same thing. And he said, look, man, 2023, I want to fight 3 times. So if Terence Crawford wants to fight 3 times in 2023, 2 of those fights are not going to be Errol Spence. And they're going to be, one of them at least is going to be a voluntary. So seems like Jaron Ennis is exactly, what needs to happen. So I definitely hope that Hank Lundy is right in that regard. And I think it'd be a terrific fight. Now, I got Jaron Ennis winning the fight. I think I don't see Terence Crawford winning that fight. Looking at the 2 of those guys fight, I just think that's a tough matchup for him versus Errol Spence, where I think the style of the fight is just something that, man, I just think those styles match up a little bit better for Errol with Jaron than Terence, but could be wrong. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.